The aim of my video is to promote Worthing College to international students in schools on the High School International Programme and give an insight into student life studying at Worthing College. I conducted market research to find out how existing students feel about where they live, the college, and what they do in their recreational time. All this was asked so I can narrow down the most important aspects to talk about in the final promotional video. Primary qualitative research. In the first phase of market research, I began with primary research, conducting my own focus groups to gather insight of students' thoughts. Focus groups are a way to gather specified primary data, typically in the form of qualitative, to later be transferred to quantitative. A group of people are asked about their perceptions, opinions, and attitudes towards a product, service, concept, advertisement, or idea. It is used to give further insight from an alternative, relatable, reliable perspective. Good focus groups usually involve activities, questions, or statements to provoke a discussion organically and run anywhere from 20 minutes to a couple of hours. I did 2 focus groups, the first to find out what it was students did in their recreational time. I gathered a lot of understanding of what people do in their free time and what people think of where they live. The answers were extremely diverse, ranging from watching films, playing games, to coding and scripting to mountain biking. This is good as it shows that living in the area allows for a diverse range of activities to engage in. I also asked why they came to Worthing College, as this would give me insight into what is attractive about the college. The majority of the feedback was because it's easy to commute to, and the rest of the responses were about courses being offered that weren't being offered elsewhere. This is all positive, good, genuine information to convey in the production to give the best possible chance of persuading foreign students to come to Worthing College. My second focus group was in response to my first one. I noticed I surrounded the questions around student life and was lacking insight into the other areas, such as thoughts on the facilities the college offers, and so in the second focus group I tackled these issues. The general answer was that the college provides great facilities, such as MacBooks, learning zones, darkrooms, etc., and a lot better than other colleges they looked at. I then asked if they use the facilities and if they like that it is available. Everyone said that they like that it is there, and when the time comes, it is convenient. These answers were primarily in response to the gym and canteen. In evaluation, my focus groups went well. I found information that spans across a lot of areas that is useful to tailoring my production, although if I were to do it again, I would conduct another type of focus group, perhaps with a different activity to evoke a different response, and see if there's any opinions and thoughts I missed. After collecting qualitative data in the form of focus groups, I created a questionnaire in response to the data I found so I could gather quantitative data. The primary reason for collecting quantitative data as well as qualitative is so that the information can be measured. Also, it puts the information in a form that is easily observable. I modelled my questionnaire in relation to what I learnt in my focus groups. A good questionnaire should have questions specific to the topic, and the answers available should be clear to answer to avoid confusion and cover as many aspects of the question as possible. In total, I asked 8 questions in my questionnaire, beginning from what are your hobbies? I asked this to find out what activities have active communities that you can engage in, which I could use in my video to inform international students. Through this, I found the majority of people spend their time indoors, 50%, and an equal amount of people spend their time outdoors and playing team sport, 37.5%. I then asked, how do you commute to college? This was to gain insight into a major part of student life, which is travel, and again, use it to inform in my production. It turns out an equal amount of people walk, cycle, and get the train. 25% of people get the bus, and few people commute by car. Next I asked, where would you prefer to live? I asked this as Worthing area provides all these environments, and by including it in my questionnaire, I would find out what environment appeals most to people and in turn give exposure accordingly in my production. I found 62.5% of people would prefer to live in a city environment, whilst 25% would like to live in the countryside, and 12.5% of people prefer living by the seaside. The next 3 questions were all to gather opinions on how often the college facilities are put to use, and if it at all appeals to them. By finding this out, I would know whether it is valid, persuasive information to use in my production. I found an equal amount of people would and wouldn't use the gym. 62.5% of people would eat the college food, whereas the remaining 37.5% of people eat a packed lunch or eat outside of college during timetable breaks. However, 100% of people said that a canteen would encourage them to eat inside college. Possibly the most important aspect of student life is the education on offer. So for my last 2 questions, I focused on this. I asked what people's thoughts were on 2-hour lessons, what sort of learning style suits them. I found that there was an equal amount of people who think 2-hour lessons are and aren't a good idea, and 75% of people think a combination of independent learning and feedback from teachers is an optimal learning experience, whereas the remaining 25% feel constant feedback is the best idea. The primary purpose of making this video is to illustrate life studying at college in the UK, in particular Worthing College. The client of the production is High School International, a company spanning across the world that offers students a chance to study abroad. The profile of my audience, therefore, is students aged 16 to 19 with an interest in studying at Worthing. The gender, race, social class and sexual orientation are non-specific, as student demographic offers a varied spectrum and have people of all types. However, the majority of students currently on the HSI program are from a small variety of countries, typically from either Brazil, Spain, Portugal, Italy and China. With this in mind, I can tailor the production and include case studies of people from these countries so it's more relatable. I conducted secondary research to reinforce my primary research and solidify who to tailor my production for and how, at more specificity. I firstly found out the figures of the proportion of foreign students in the UK. Research conducted by the Higher Education Statistics Agency show that in 2013 to 2014, 2 million foreign students decided to come study in the UK, 250,000 of which were in some form of undergraduate education. Also, West Sussex offers a diverse living style, from rural, seaside to city, all within an arm's reach. Studies have shown that different people adapt best to different environments of living, and being in a suitable environment in turn improves quality of life. West Sussex offering such a large choice of living style means that it is suitable for almost everyone. Through the college website, I found that in general, the results show that it provides an excellent learning environment, and it shows in the student success rate. In A-level, the pass rate was 90.3%, which was 2.56% above the national average, whilst BTEC was 97.8%, with 79% high grades. Research from sociology papers further back up studying in the UK. They say you'll receive a top-class education and qualifications that are recognised all over the world, and in turn broaden your prospects in life massively. Evaluation. This research exercise has been useful in providing insightful knowledge about my target audience, in turn allowing me to specify my production video to be more appealing to my audience and impactful upon students looking to study at Worthing College and Worthing College Sixth Form College. All the forms of research I conducted was purposeful. Research that wasn't included most likely was due to overlapping existing research. Despite the research I conducted allowing me sufficient information and data to use, if I were to do it again, I would include more variety in my focus groups, and perhaps include activities. However, this is only in excess to cover topics that otherwise wouldn't have been uncovered. To summarise, I conducted extensive research and analysis in the form of focus group, questionnaires, comparative graphs and secondary sourcing in order to find out my target audience profile, what already attracts people to study abroad and why they choose to rather than continuing education in their native country, important aspects of student life at Worthing College such as transport links, typical day-to-day structure and educational support. Also, I found out what to narrow all the information on the college to, what people want to be informed on about the college the most. And lastly, what visual aids to include in my production that will make it appeal. This includes popular recreational activities and places on offer to visit around the area such as Brighton. I will use the research I have gathered to effectively target my production to my audience, of which I have found in specificity through the research. I also found out people's preferences and interests, favourite places in the area which will be incorporated into my production to increase the chance of the video appealing to students. Thank you very much for watching my production. Peace out.